My name's Dave. Burrows.
And I'm
the video to not gonna either and set against the London 2 second place 13th.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, it should be a game though, right? Yes, that we trade. He's off. He's Schwa. So is take tending challenge, Jake. What do you
But I like we gave Aiden a chance to kind of revive his career in the OHL anyway, and although they only got a 9th round for him, it's hard to get more when you gotta base your trade on the numbers. So what it does do though, to answer our goaltending, is it frees up that spot. I mean, I think the Sting right now, I think they're sitting third. We don't have net.
Yeah.
Out of the net. So the best thing about that is we also have
for sure
middle of the road team that say, hey, we're going to start to rebuild. We got an OA goalie, or maybe a 19-year-old goalie that who's back for another year. It gives kind of grow instead of being peppered. Like poor Fox, so much rubber.
Oh,
so
odds in a game, right?
Exactly.
He's seeing.
Yeah.
Impressed so far. He stepped up a week or two. He's pretty strong.
Yeah, he's. You know what? He's playing fine. We've talked about him many times on the show here. We've talked times where the goalie gets kind of hung out to dry. Are the goalies ever the goalie this, the goalie that, the goalie this? And it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, it's a whole team effort, because if you don't let the shot in, then the goalie doesn't have to make those tough shots.
Yeah.
But it's when the wind comes out of the sail, everybody exhales and goes, oh.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Kid, like he's we're going to some different here. Hang on, let's do this, because I guess apparently these aren't working as well as this might work. So
I still want to listen to you up close and personal.
do a nice light up close.
And I like this because my hair, the makeup guy wasn't here for hair, so my hair's not ready. I know.
All the amenities are been taken away. Dave's not here, and
And he brought the chapstick.
There's a Cheech and Chong joke in there somewhere too, right?
Is.
Dave's not here.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I mean, certainly goaltending is far from our only challenge right now with the Sting too. But I mean, I want to go back to the opportunity things. I like the fact that Aiden's now got an opportunity with another club to maybe step up and be a factor for another club, which is great. So
absolutely
good. We wish them all the best for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You always want to be able to. I mean, it's a league to grow kids, right? It's not to bury them. And whether he goes on to the NHL, the AHL, ECHL, overseas, you still kind of want these 4 or 5 years or whatever they end up playing in the league. You still kind of want that to be a pinnacle of their hockey career at some point. So,
absolutely. Dave and I have often talked about on the show about how it's really easy to forget that these are young men. Like, these are guys, 15, 16, up to 21, and that's really it. These are young guys that are just coming here, and it's real easy to forget that because of the level of play that we're seeing,
Yeah, you think, you watch hockey on TV, right? They're grown men, and they're not. They're just, they're physical specimens for who they are at this league, and they're great athletes, and they're not at their prime right now, and they only get better from here. And
so let's talk a little bit about the idea of a rebuilding year. I mean, last year the Sting had what was arguably a pretty terrific season. We made it second round in the playoffs, which is a little deeper than we've ever made it before. We had really strong. I mean, Kairu. We put up some numbers. We had some, and this year, clearly we haven't had the kind of success that we wanted to have. But that's not without still some successes. But they're much smaller at this point, and we're looking at a rebuilding year. What do you think the coaches are looking at right now in terms of trying to develop for next year? I mean, is this going to be success for next year, or are we planning 2, 3, 4 years out?
I'd rather call it a keep building year. And I always say that because usually when you rebuild, you're bottom of the pack. We're kind of middle of the road. And again, when you have a team that's third in the league in scoring, like, all you got to do is score goals. Yeah. And as long as you can score more than the other team, which means your goalie making a couple, like 2 saves out of 30, more than what he would have, all of a sudden you're winning games. So I think they got a chance. I think they can make some noise in the playoffs if they play like they have. I've seen a couple stinkers this year, though, but the good thing is you got to win 4 games. So if they learn from that, too. Yeah,
absolutely. And you know what? I mean, I think the best part of watching hockey at this level is, I mean, on any given day, any team can win. I mean, the teams are that close. Yeah. And this is a very competitive league, and I love that. And it is really a development thing. Just, the smallest things can change, the whole thing. And I mean, typically, the interesting part for me has always been that it seems to be a bit of a tradition now that the Sting tend to play really, really well against the strongest teams in the league. But when we played some of the bottom end teams, we tend not to do as well. And I'm not quite sure I'd figured that one out yet. Any thoughts on that, Jake?
Yeah, I totally get it. You always play the level of your competitor. You get up more for those games. It's like last time when we were in London just a little while ago. The Sting stayed with them until like the 5-minute mark of the third, it seemed, and all of a sudden it was like, score, score, score. And then it's like they realized that, they're a better team. And I don't think the coaching staffs let them think that anymore. It's not acceptable. We're not going to take that kind of attitude. We're going to play right to the full 60 minutes if we can. And I think that's a good culture to have from within the team.
Yeah.
Going back to the, what can we do to keep building and stuff like that, that's just trying to find the guys. I've always said in the OHL, it's nice to finish last because you get the best guy, but you only get the best guy for 2 years. How do you build a team like that? Yeah. And, I mean, London does well every year, and they're never getting the first overall pick ever. So I think what it is it's, and I believe Nick St. Clair's got that about him where you can find a whole lot of really good 19-year-olds and 18-year-olds, and you trade for those guys, and maybe you can pick them up for, a third or a fourth round pick, and then you trade another guy if that's not working out. It's just being able to shuffle, but to literally collect draft picks, I don't think you can build an OHL team out of the draft. It just, so many people say that, and that's NHL thinking. Yeah. Because you only get those kids for 4 years, whether you like it or not.
And I've talked about it before, too, where, the Sting, I mean, if we look at this from the coaching perspective, I mean, this is really only year 3 for Coach Hatcher and Legwand. And when they bought the team, when they picked up the team from the Cicerellis, I mean, we were last in the league. Like, we were having arguably one of our worst seasons. And then we go from that to doing fairly strong in the first year under the new coaches, and then last year was a great year.
Yeah.
So it is going to be a cyclical game like that, and I think it's nice. I think because I think I've really honestly seen the coaches growing, at the same time and realizing, what it takes to put together a hockey team because I hope you agree, but not just because you're a decent NHL player doesn't necessarily mean you're a great coach. But you come into this, you put everything into it, and all of a sudden we see us, winning some games and making ourselves second in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I think the coaching has a lot to do with it, and it's nice to see them growing at the same time.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Wayne Gretzky, not a good coach. So anyway, but
fair enough.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, Wayne. Oh,
for sure.
Can we pay you to leave? It just
with your own dollars.
But the good part about that is, I mean, you got to remember, and people don't maybe remember and look into it maybe as deep as others. Coach Hatcher, I mean, he had a very successful. I believe he was coaching a midget team prior to, and they were very successful. He knows how to coach, and those kids you only get for 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's trying to build that program up, and again, that culture and everyone buying into it. Once they all buy into it and you get the right character guys, it is chemistry for happiness and championships for sure.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing a great job. They put a lot into the community. They try to be in the community. That's what this city wants. As Dave and I have talked on this show, though, the city better start.
Yeah.
I don't understand when you cry for a champion and you have a decent team, you better support it, no matter what the cost, sort of thing. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping Sarnia can come out and start filling the barn all the time.
Sarnia certainly is coming out to games now. I mean, last year I remember in our section, come close to playoffs. I mean, there's me and my buddy Lloyd, and neither one of us are particularly small guys, but we had no room to spread out, I'm telling you, because this place was so jammed. And as of tonight, I mean, again, it's pretty typical that on a night that the Knights come to town, this place is going to be an absolute zoo. It's going to be jammed right up to the rafters because, we like playing the Knights. They tend to be good hockey games. Any predictions for tonight, Jake? What are you expecting we're going to see out there?
I want to see a 4-3 Sting win.
Yeah, baby. I like the way you think. I like the way you think.
I want a nice, close game. I need to see a fight. I'm sorry, but I like a real fight.
Yeah.
Where people are getting hit.
We don't really have too many scrappers on the team this year, though, do you?
They don't have to be a scrapper, just someone that's really proud.
Yeah, nice.
I just want to find someone with
Sting,
pride.
Bang. There we go. Absolutely.
No, but I'd like to see some good hits. I want to see like a good old-fashioned hockey game where there's some good hits, clean hits. I don't want to see anyone getting hurt. It's not about that. Just let's play some good old-fashioned hockey tonight. 60 minutes of that.
And I think that's the key. For me, I want to see 60 minutes of hockey. That's the thing. I mean, quite often we get behind, we get down on ourselves, and then we play that defensive style of hockey, which never seems to really work for us. But then when we get up, sometimes you get up too far, you also take the gas off. Things don't tend to work for us in those circumstances. So it'd be nice to see, that full 60 minutes of hockey just come out, get the job done, and away we go, right?
Pedal down.
Pedal down. All right, folks, we're about 4 minutes away from the Sting taking the ice here tonight at the Progressive Auto Sales Arena. I think I'm going to probably call it to a close. I'm not sure what's going on for the rest of the night. With no Dave Burrows, I got no script. I'm flying by to the seat of my pants, and there's a lot of seat to go, which I get that. But we got about 4 minutes before the Sting take the ice. The arena's filling up. There's certainly a good-sized crowd here, as always when we play the London Knights. And like my buddy Jake says here, we're looking for a 4-3 Sting win. That's our prediction going forward. Stay tuned. I'm not sure if we have anything going on in the first, second, or post game yet, but I'm going to talk to the producer because I was frankly late, and we'll find out what's going to go on. Keep your eyeballs here as we bring you all of the details of what happens in today's game. So on behalf of Dave Burrows, who's not here, I'm Jay Peckham for the Video Show Network, and my buddy Jake Cherski. We'll see you real soon. Go Sting, go!